going on.
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. Babcock here. Everyone's still talking about this crazy Mark Sanchez situation, and we have got some new, really explosive video. I hesitate to say that it provides answers because I think, honestly, there may be more questions than ever right now about what happened on Friday night into Saturday morning in Indianapolis, just moments before Mark Sanchez was ultimately stabbed. And obviously we know what happened the next day as Mark Sanchez is arrested. He's now facing those four charges, including one very serious felony charge. Let's get to this new video that we have got here, though. We got 30 minutes, essentially, of surveillance video, multiple angles from the alley where this incident happened. Now, you do not see the actual altercation go down, but you see a lot of other really important things, including Mark Sanchez just rambling around, seemingly aimlessly, right? And I mean, for 15 or 20 minutes. Now, the video starts, and I'll quickly run through this. If you want to watch this whole thing, by the way, too, go to the TMZ Sports website. We got the entire video on there. It's edited in a really nice way where you can follow along pretty easily. But you first see the victim's truck pull down the alleyway at 12:06 a.m. 12:13, you see Mark Sanchez just aimlessly walking around again, seemingly no destination in mind, Ed. Just he walks down the alley, he walks back, right? You then see him at 12:22. So this is 9 minutes after we initially saw Mark, and about 15 minutes or so after the victim pulled his truck down the alley. Mark is leaning against a wall, and some guy comes over, Ed, right, and seems to check on him like, "Hey, man, you okay?" Can't exactly tell what's happening because the video, it's a surveillance camera, you don't have audio, but they have some sort of conversation. 2 minutes later, Mark Sanchez runs down the alley, and it is at about this time where the fight happens, and Mark Sanchez, of course, gets stabbed. You see him, Edward, then at 12:30. He is fleeing backwards, and he is all bloodied, and the shirt's bloodstained, and it's again, I think it's great video, but it leaves you with more questions than answers.
Our web edit team kind of cut this all together, and again, like you said, you can watch it on TMZsports.com in full. I've watched it now 4 or 5 times, and each time I come away with it with a completely different narrative of what I think is going on. I have truly no idea. When you first see the video, the alleged victim's truck pulls in, and it appears, based on our footage, that Sanchez was there when the truck pulled in.
Right.
So was there some kind of confrontation or some kind of talk as you see him kind of leaving the alley? And then is this him kind of perhaps checking back into the alley to make sure the guy's still there? Is it him not? There's another point, like you mentioned, where he has a confrontation with the stranger where he's leaned up against the wall. Is he asleep on that wall? Is he that out of it that he fell asleep standing up and this guy checked on him?
He's there for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's just kind of leaning up there. And then, not only that, when the stranger and him have their little, conversation, it appears that the man is saying something, I don't want to say maliciously to him, but it doesn't seem friendly. You know what I mean? It seems like, well, fine, forget you then. You know what I mean? So he appears to be combative, but then at times he goes behind the dumpster. So is he trying to relieve himself? I have no idea what is going on. I think all of us, unfortunately, have been this stupor after having a few too many drinks. But I don't know how. It's inexplicable for 25 minutes to be aimlessly wandering from an alley to a street.
In this alley, by the way, I mean there is a hotel there. There are bars around, but he's not going into any of those places. He's running down this alley. He's walking down the alleyway, and you wonder why. Like Edward's saying, it's very puzzling, Mojo. What was this guy doing? What was going through his head? What was happening in those moments leading up to this violent altercation?
Yeah, I mean, if I knew Mark Sanchez personally, maybe I could get you some more context here. I mean, I've played sports with a lot of different athletes. I've met some very unusual dudes. I've met some guys that they have some beers. they want to go outside and run sprints and do push-ups or go get some fresh air, get away from people because it's too much. So walking in the alleyways, albeit unusual, it's not out of the realm of possibility to me, but then you factor in how the entire night went. And yes, this is a chain of unusual events. And, you know, you don't want to speculate. You wonder what he drank. You wonder maybe what he smoked. You wonder what was in his system that caused the unusual behavior, especially when you factor in what happened with the stabbing itself, you know, intimidating a 69-year-old man, making that guy fear for his life enough where he had to grab a weapon to defend himself against you. That part has been made fairly clear to this point. I don't think anything's really going to really excuse what led to the stabbing, but yeah, just a strange evening.
Yeah, it is, Mojo. And to just highlight how bad these injuries were and how Mark literally, I mean, going to the hospital with possible life-threatening injuries, this tonight at about 12:30 or so, shortly after midnight, will be exactly a week since this thing happened. And he is still in the hospital to this day being treated for those injuries. So he's dealing with the health stuff. He is also, of course, having to contend now with that lawsuit. He has been sued in civil court by the alleged victim. And perhaps most seriously is the fact that he is obviously, again, facing these 4 criminal charges, including that 1 felony that potentially carries up to 6 years in prison if he is convicted. So a lot, to say the least, on Mark Sanchez's plate right now. And more video. I've got more questions than ever. Coming up next on TMZ Sports, you might have seen the Thursday night football game. The Giants demolished the Eagles 34-17, but the best part of the game was what happened after. It involves Cam Scattaboo and no shirt. That's next.
You don't rip the mic off. Let me scoot over.
Well, don't worry about the mic. We'll get a new one of those. The mic linebacker.
Oh, yeah, let's go. Oh, yeah, let's go. Okay. Now get the win. Yeah, let's go.
I think we need the Scattaboo chant.
Scattaboo, Scattaboo, Scattaboo.
Welcome back to TMZ Sports. The vibes were impeccable last night at MetLife Stadium as the Giants, I think, shock everybody except for Shannon. And they beat their rival, their NFC East rival, Philadelphia Eagles, 34-17. Giants were taking the ball away. They really, it was just a thorough ass kicking last night. As our guy Luca here, we made a friendly little wager, and I was positive I was going to have to wear that Eagles jersey today. But
You were.
34-17, Giants win, and here we go. Luca in the beautiful Lawrence Taylor jersey, with the noggin hat. Again, it's shocking. You saw him there. The Giants won this game in large part because of their 2 young rookies, Jackson Dart, the quarterback, and Cam Scattaboo, who rushes for 98 yards, caught a couple balls, and he scores 3 touchdowns. Then the backflip, of course, that's his thing.
That backflip was very impressive.
The backflip's impressive. I don't want him to hurt himself.
Yeah,
but,
no David Wilson. No David Wilson.
Yeah, please don't. And then after the game, of course, as they were on the set right there on the Prime post-game show, you know Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's his thing. He takes the shirt off, and Jackson Dart said, hey, Fitz, if you do it, then Cam will do it. And sure enough, the 2 dudes had their shirts off after, and is as good a regular season game as I can remember in a really long time.
I feel like when you also had Fitzpatrick to take off his shirt at a stadium not in Buffalo,
right.
You've achieved it all.
Right. I saw he said he told his wife that he wouldn't do it anywhere unless he was in Buffalo. But with Scat, you make an exception.
And I'm not even surprised that he did that from previous videos. I've seen of Scat back at Arizona State acting a little crazy during his days.
Yeah.
So, and also, I just want to say something. When he took his shirt off, there's a couple of strip clubs in New York that actually want to make this guy an
do
offer.
they want to get?
Yes, there's a couple of them that want to make him an offer. I just talked to hustlers in New York. They're interested in
That's
giving
a big
Cam.
one. I've heard. I've never been.
They're giving him an. What does that mean?
That's, I don't do those kind of things. Yeah. So what's the offer? What are we talking here?
Yeah,
Because he's got a well-paying job.
Right. So no, the hustlers in New York is interested in Cam getting on stage. Ever since he ripped off their shirt and showed off his muscles, they want him to actually strip at their electric fantasy party they're having in next weekend, actually.
Well, you know what? He doesn't need the money, but I could see him doing it just because he's a very fun guy and he likes to go out and go do crazy things.
And then we have one more left, a gentleman's club in New York, that's what it's called, and they're offering him $10,000 worth of free lap dances at their show just because he looks so damn good in last night's game.
How about that?
Right, so there we go.
Take that offer.
We'll see. Are those transferable at all? Do we know or no?
I have no idea.
We'll get back. Yeah, we'll check in with them.
Really creative name for a business, by the way.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm very happy that the Giants won the game last night. Of course, when they lost to the Saints, I was a little worried because it's just like, it's the Saints. Why are we even losing to them when we just beat the Chargers?
The Saints were winless at the time.
Exactly. But I feel like that was a reality check for Jackson Dart and the rest of the New York Giants, and they just came in and played their best. And plus, we always play good when it comes to the NFC East division, right?
I think, that's the thing. And if I could go back and teach myself a lesson here, one, there's a reason you play the football games. And funny things happen when you play your division rivals. And that I think even if the other team's got more talent, those games tend to be close, no matter how good or bad the records are.
And I mean, I hate to bring it up.
Let me ask you this right here.
This time when we versed the Eagles last year, the whole talk is about Saquon Barkley. We're coming in again this year. He has a documentary released on the night he plays us.
On that day.
Convenient timing, I guess we could say that.
Right,
And just to have Cam go out there and do what he did, Jackson go out there do what he did. Without Malik Neighbors, it gives us this false mindset that like maybe the Giants can go out there and do something in the NFL.
They've obviously got some talented pass rushers too. To think Malik Neighbors is 22 or 23 years old, Jackson Dart, Cam, these guys are in their early 20s. So the Giants have got some talented football players. I think all Giants fans out there, you hope that this is them build, the start of something that they can build upon in the last decade of terrible football in New York City. We desperately hope that
and I just want to point out something. Russell Wilson, he had a couple of plays last night because Jackson Dart got hurt. But shout out to him because he actually went on his Instagram and he posted all the highlights and the celebrations that Cam and Jackson were doing yesterday. So a good sport because, other backup quarterbacks would have felt some type of way, like, oh, he's taking my spot.
Coming up next on TMZ Sports, a young Philly star relief pitcher makes a crucial mistake at the worst possible time as the Dodgers advance in the Major League Baseball playoffs. We'll show you the play and we'll discuss it next on TMZ Sports. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Oh boy, not only did the Philadelphia Phillies lose last night to the Dodgers, not only is the season over, but they lost in absolutely devastating fashion in extra innings on what was just a crucial error in the worst possible time for a young, talented pitcher. I'm talking about Orion Kerkeren, who, again, is a relief pitcher for the Phillies. This was last night, bottom of the 11th inning, bases loaded, 2 outs. Watch how the Phillies season ends.
Has in his career 1 walk-off in a regular season game. That was against the Braves last season. No balls and a strike. Has breaks his bat. Kerkering got to find it. Throws to the plate. Oh my goodness! He throws it away, and the Dodgers have won. The Dodgers win, and they are moving on to the NLCS in a most improbable finish.
Coming down the stretch there, he pitched so well for us, and it's I feel for him because he's putting it all on his shoulders. But we win as a team and we lose as a team. So.
Of course, their Phillies manager, Rob Thompson, he didn't field it cleanly yet, and I think clearly he panicked in that moment, and he didn't get the out at home. He could have gotten the out still at that point at first base, and obviously the game continues. Wasn't meant to be, though.
Yeah, and I think Phillies fans who are putting it all on Orion, I think it's a little bit unfair, and you obviously heard his manager do a great job of it.
Yeah,
Look, it's Game 4, so even if he makes this out, it's still tied, you know what I mean? So they still got to win the game, and then they got to go to Game 5 and win that game. I mean, this is not Game 7, bottom of the 9th, World Series. That's any sort of solace. But on the flip side of that, Orion is a wonderful pitcher. I know a lot of people don't know him because he's been primarily a setup man for the last 2 seasons, but there was some talk that he might be groomed to be a closer, at least if not this year, down the road. I know they picked up Joe Duran to be their closer this year, but he's a great pitcher, and hopefully he gets over this because I know a lot of guys can beat themselves up for it.
I mean, you've seen, look, go back like Scott Norwood, Bill's kicker. I mean, Bill Buckner, of course. These moments can literally have impacts on not just your playing career, but your life in general. So he's a young, talented guy, like Ed said, and you hope this doesn't mar his whole career. Paul Pierce is explaining what happened the night that he was busted for DUI. You probably did not see this coming from the NBA Hall of Famer. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Babcock here. Paul Pierce, we told you on yesterday's show, was busted earlier in the week for DUI in Los Angeles. Well, now the Hall of Famer is trying to provide some clarity, Ed, as to what he says at least happened and what led up to the DUI bust. He doesn't say it was drinking and the fact that he was wasted. No, he's got another reason.
Yeah, so you recall that California Highway Patrol shut down lanes in order to conduct a crash investigation.
Right.
According to authorities, they found Paul Pierce basically sleeping at the wheel when they reopened the lanes and his car was stuck.
And this picture is from Paul, right?
Exactly. So he goes to Threads last night, which is a choice.
Right.
And
Did he not want anyone to see
it? He posts this picture, which is what he says is of him in that standstill traffic. He says, imagine being stuck in standstill traffic for 45 minutes and falling asleep. I took this picture that night because I've never been in standstill traffic for this long. I'm old, I'm tired, and I fell asleep. I'm good, y'all. Thanks for the love.
So the bottom line, the takeaway is he was into traffic, he got tired, and he just fell asleep.
That's
saying,
what
I'm not drunk,
said.
I think.
He's not, but he doesn't specifically mention that I was not drunk.
Right.
I mean, he just says I fell asleep. So who knows what it is? I'll tell you what, this is a very unique case because a lot of times in Los Angeles, if you are arrested, you go through a booking process.
Right.
You're in some sort of sheriff inmate locator, and we have not found him. We have not seen that he's been booked on any sort of charges or anything like that. So I don't really know. According to the cops, they have forwarded the case to the city attorney's office, and they're going to make a decision on whether or not he should be charged. But it's a very unique case, and I think Paul's stance is, I was just asleep.
Yeah, but by the way, I don't know if you buy this or not, Mojo. Paul Pierce is 47 years old. He says he's old. It's like your grandpa falling asleep on the couch. I mean, he's 47. He ain't that old.
As someone who is extremely impatient, I'm imagining myself sitting in traffic that bad for that long. And I would lose my mind. I'd be too frustrated to go to sleep. I don't think I'm going that far with it, but I'd probably get out of my car. Hopefully there's like a football in the trunk and I got someone with me to play catch. I've seen that back in the day. I mean, you got to get creative at that point, right? Like that's a long time. Was not the response that I was expecting by any means. I mean, this doesn't even fit the general emotion that I was expecting. I mean, this turned this whole situation from extremely concerning to kind of a joke to ha-ha, right? Maybe his PR team, his managers thought that this would be a great way to deflect. I mean, I gotta say, regardless of what actually happened, it's kind of a good response if you ask me, because it really does just flip the emotions surrounding this entire thing. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if I'm buying it, but pretty solid response if you ask me.
Yeah, and everybody out there, keep a close eye on Paul's MySpace page for continued updates. All right, guys, we are almost out of time, but before we go, we've got to send our condolences to a woman who was a legend in college sports, especially college basketball, Sister Jean. As some of you may remember, Sister Jean, back in 2018, She was the chaplain for Loyola Chicago, but she was more than that. She kind of, a friendly face at each game as that team went on a historic run all the way to the Final Four. This was a team that nobody thought was going to do anything in the tournament, and she really became famous then, and she was beloved since that moment, and she really had become a big star. Well, a couple of weeks ago, she retired. She stepped away as chaplain at the university at 106 years old. Well, we learned last night that Sister Jean had sadly passed away. Of course, look, you live to 106 years old. That's an incredibly full life, and she's somebody who is beloved, Mojo. If you want to know just how kind of beloved she was, you just got to look at the people who have expressed condolences at her loss. Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, he weighed in on her death, and a lot of other people have as well, Mojo. And a great life, still sad, obviously, that Sister Jean has passed, and somebody who I think, especially at that university, will not be forgotten for a really long time.
Was still doing it at 106 years old. If you know nothing about her, that is all you need to know. Until 106 years old, still inspiring people, motivating people, donating her time. I mean, my goodness, you can't say enough positive things here. Rest in peace, Sister Jean. I mean, this is, my goodness. I mean, if this can't uplift the community, I don't know what will.
Yeah, absolutely, Mojo. But she was someone who was inspiring. She was beloved in that community, and somebody who will be greatly missed. All right, guys, we have got to go. A lot of big college football games this weekend, a ton of NFL action. We're going to have a bunch to talk about on Monday. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you then.
I'm a lawyer.